Hello, hello. Hi. Good evening. How's everybody? So, if you are here, you can just let me know if you're here, right? So, good evening once again. And yep, we continue from where we stopped yesterday. Yesterday we looked at Git status. We looked at moving from the working directory to the staging area and then committing our changes to our local repo C3, right? Um, Today we'll be looking at the concept of branches. I talked about making branches yesterday, and I said that if you're working as a team, everybody's individually going to work on a particular branch, and then we need to come back and kind of like put all those changes that we've worked on into the main branch, or as we have it here, master branch. I don't have the main branch yet, but what I have is a master branch. So master branch or main branch, whichever one you see, is means that that's the key or the can I call it like the entry point for the branches. That's where we have to branch out from. All right. I was going to demonstrate something before I talk about the branch feature. Mm, Probably I leave this one out till probably when you're students in the class and I can talk about it. So let me just go into the branch and then we'll look at how we can create branches um, and the rest and see why creating branches is so useful and important for us. So I'll just give an instance. In our organization, this is the starting point of the project. Now I have written types of carnivorous animals, and then someone else is working on herbivorous animals, and then someone else is working on, I've forgotten the other type of animal. I can't remember if it is omnivorous animal or something like that. I'm going to assume both positions here, and so if I was to work on the herbivorous animals, what I'm going to do here is to do a I'm going to create a branch from this particular branch, and I'm going to call it feature. So that's how I did feature. I call it herbivorous. So you might see some people write it this way. Some people do just like this, feature herbivorous. But I'm just going to do my own FTs quite quicker for me. And then I hit enter to create that new branch. So to see if the branches that we have, I can just do this command. And then we can see that we have two branches. We have the master branch, and then we also have the feature herbivorous branch. When you see this asterisk on a particular branch, means that is the current branch that you're currently is the branch that you're currently working on. So for me to be able to use this herbivorous branch, I need to do what you call a checkout, meaning that I need to tell Git I don't want to use the master branch. I want to use feature herbivorous branch. So what I'm going to run is a git checkout command, and then I'm going to write the name of the branch. I'm just going to fill in tab to autocomplete. Oh, didn't happen here. Okay. Hub. Let me still come back. Let me just type it out. Herbivorous. I'm not even sure I spelled that well, but you get what I'm doing. Now you can see that I said switched to branch feature herbivorous. So if I run the git branch minus a command, which I'm kind of like saying like list all, git branch list all is what A is saying. So when I hit on this, you can see that right now the master branch is not asterisk. Instead, the branch that is asterisk right now is the feature herbivorous branch. So what I can come and do here as the herbivorous team member, I'll come down here and write um, herbivorous animals. And so here I'm going to have, I can have the goat, I can have the sheep, I can have the cow. Okay. Yep. So I've added, let me add two first because I'm going to try to demonstrate something. Yep. So I just have these two right here, and I do a, we have to do like a git add command to take this to the staging area. Right now is just here. If we do a git status, we are going to see that we have changes, but it's not in the staging area yet. We can't check, we can't actually commit. So I'll go ahead and save this. Then I'll run the git status command. You'll notice that it says changes not stage for commit. That means there are changes, but we've not pushed them into the staging area, so we can't actually commit them. So the first thing we need to do is to use the git add command first to stage it, and then after we use the git add command as stated here, we can use the git commit to actually add this particular to commit the changes to our repository. So what I'm going to try and do is just to do the git add dot. So this is currently added. I might want to add another animal, so I write cow here. Now if you run a git status command, you will notice something new for the first time. I was going to run this and ask questions, but I don't have anybody here, so let me just go ahead. Or is anybody with me on this call? Let me not be talking to myself. Okay. So when I run a git status command, I'm going to see that there are changes that I need to commit, and there are also changes that have not been staged yet. And I explain why that's so. So remember that when we did the git add command, we did the git add when we didn't have cow as part of the list. So those changes right now are ready to be committed, right? That's the particular snapshot of what we had in our Git repository at that point, what we're working on at that particular point in time, right? And then we made a change. We did git, and then we added cow. And this cow, we haven't actually done git add after we added the cow here. So that particular cow that we added has not been staged yet. It hasn't been added to the staging area. Why the sheep and the goat the goat, herbivorous animals have actually been added to the staging area. So there's a new command I want us to actually say. It's called the git diff command, and I can type the name of the file. So it's going to show me the difference. If you look at this particular stuff, it's showing the difference between what we have in our staging area. I need to edit this part now, make I not go talk rubbish. So if you look at what we have here, it actually says that did you have herbivorous animals previously? Before I go ahead with that, let me do a git log command. I set this 0192, which is our last one. Okay. I'm trying to understand why we have the herbivorous animals with the goats, because I just added this here. Hold on, just the git diff. Okay, so I'm going to try the git diff staged. So I can see the carnivorous animals, the lion, the dog, and there was no tiger in this other one. Okay, added the tiger, added, yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay. So let me clear screen. So if you look at this particular git command, it actually said that the sheep was removed, but then again the sheep was added and the cow. This is the difference between what we currently have in our working directory, right? This is different between what we have in our working directory and what we have in the staging area, because you can see that in the staging area we've already done git add herbivorous animal, goat, and sheep. We already added that to our staging area, but what we didn't have previously was the cow. We didn't have the cow, and if you notice, like, I had to put something here and hit and enter, and that's why you can see that it looked like the sheep was removed, and then the sheep was put back again, and then the cow itself is actually put back. So we know the difference between what we currently have in our staging area and what we have in our working directory. Remember the difference between working directory and the staging area. The working directory is where we are currently working on. It doesn't have anything to do with our repository yet. We have not committed those changes yet. And even the staging area, we've not committed those changes, but we've taken those changes from the working directory into the staging area. So we have all this in the staging area. But this minus this, but this was added again, right? This was actually added again, and then the car was added into our working directory. We haven't actually done anything yet with this. We've not added this yet to the staging area. So if I wanted to see the difference between what we have in our staging area and what we actually have in our staging area and what we have in our repository, what I'm going to do instead is just run git diff, and I'm going to put this flag to say I want to see what is staged, the difference. And so when we look at this, we can see that we have carnivorous animals, lion, dog, tiger. The tiger was removed, and then we added the tiger again. And then you can see that we added herbivorous animals, goat, sheep, but there is no cow because the cow is not in the staging area yet. So it's very good for us to understand how all of this works. If you don't actually add this cow to the staging area and you commit this change, there will be no cow in your repository if you close it that way. So if you want the cow to be saved, you need to follow the process git add and then git commit. So I'll go ahead again and I'm going to do a git add to add a cow, and then git commit with my message, and that message is I'm going to say add herbivorous animals. Okay, I've done that. I've added herbivorous animals to to this particular branch. Now I'm going to check out back. So anytime I want to switch into a branch, I'll do a checkout command. I'm going to check out back into my master branch. And we are going to notice if we are going to see this particular change, these herbivorous animals, whether it's in our master branch yet. So we do a git check out master. Now we can see that we are back to just carnivorous animal. We don't have any herbivorous animal here, right? So this makes it very very easy for us to build features, and then we can just work independently and then push it back to a particular key branch or master or main branch when we are done. So if I wanted to go back to that particular branch we were working on, let me see, happy for us. You can see the first animals are back again. So I'm just going to check out back again to the master branch, and this time around I want to create a second branch, and this branch is going to be for omnivorous animals. I can't remember what type of animals are omnivorous animals, so I'm just going to Google that. And I'm doing that right now on my phone, so just give me a moment. Okay, so we are omnivorous animals. Maybe I knew that, bears and fishes. Okay, so I'm going to do a git, and then you'll be seeing a new command. I don't want to do a git branch feature omnivorous animal and do a git checkout feature omnivorous animal. I'm going to show you a new command that you can use to create a branch and also check out in one go. So this command is git checkout with the -b flag, saying that I'm creating this branch. It's a new branch, and I'm going to call it feature omnivorous. Something you need to notice is that I checked out from the master branch. The master branch is my main branch I want to be working from. I don't want to have the changes in the herbivorous branch. What I want to do is take what I have with the master branch, because right now I am team omnivorous, work with that omnivorous branch, and then I can put my changes back in the master branch when I am done. So when I click on this, it's going to create this branch, and then it's going to move to this particular branch at once. So git checkout -b is going to create a branch, and then it's going to check out. So you need to be using these terms. Don't say, oh, you can use the word switch. You can say, can you switch to branch this? But to familiarize yourself with these terms, you can just say, I want to check out to this particular branch. Makes everything easy. I want to add to the staging area. I want to commit to my repository. So this time around, I'm checking out and I'm creating this branch. So when I click on enter, you can see it said switch to a new branch feature omnivorous. And if I do a git branch command -a to list all, I can see that I have 3 branches, and my asterisk is on feature omnivorous branch, telling me that I'm currently working on omnivorous branch. So inside here, I can just write omnivorous animals, and I can start listing them like human, bears, fish. I think we have 3, so that's fine. So what I want to do here is to use git add to add to my staging area. I'm going to add all this, then git commit -m, and message is add omnivorous animal. Oh, sorry, I didn't save any of this, so sorry about that. So I have to do that again. Git add, git commit, and then I have this particular stuff in my omnivorous branch. And so if I check out to my master branch, I just have carnivorous animals. If I check out to my herbivorous branch, I have carnivorous animals and I have herbivorous animals. While I'm omnivorous branch, I have carnivorous animals and omnivorous animals there. So if you wanted to look at our git log just to understand how things happened, like the process of us changing, saving our changes, if I do a git log command, you can see the history even from the master branch. You can look, if you look at this, it says this is where we are currently at. We are currently at this commit message. Remember I talked about the commit message yesterday. This is the commit message we are in, where we added the omnivorous animals. But our git history is showing us that before we added omnivorous animals, we had previously added some of the carnivorous animals. And before we did that, we added a title to the info.txt file. So peradventure, if I wanted to check out, if I wanted to check how this looked like when I just added some carnivorous animals without checking to my master branch, I can come here and copy. I can copy this hash symbol or the commit hash. If I copy that, I can also use the git checkout command again and say git. So to exit from that end, you can just press Q on it. Then let me do this again. So to come out of here, I can just press Q on my keyboard and then I get out of here. So I can use the git checkout command and paste what I copied. You don't need to copy the full hash. You just need to copy like maybe the first 10 symbols, first 10 characters and paste it. It's fine. So if I do a git checkout command, my file is not going to show me this omnivorous. It's going to take me back to the state of our repository when we committed this particular change here, which is adding some carnivorous animals. So if you look at this, our file has changed again. We don't have any of all those omnivorous animals. I haven't tried the git branch command with this, but let me look at that. If you look at this part here, at your bottom left corner, you can see the hash, the commit hash there, and not the git branch that we have. So if I do git branch, I don't think this is going to show a particular branch. Let me see. It's okay. It says we have 3 particular branches, but the head is not in any of these branches currently. The head now is currently at this particular commit ID. So I just wanted to demonstrate that we could actually go to any of the commits. We can check out not just to branches, but we can also check out to our hash, our commit ID. So we can actually create new branches from here, but I'm not going to do that. I won't do that here. So what I would like to do is to check out back to what I would like to do here is to check out back to our omnivorous branch. Okay, and then we're back to omnivorous branch. It says previous head was at this, and now we switch back to omnivorous branch. If I do a git branch minus a, I'm going to see that the asterisk right nice and the feature omnivorous branch. Okay, so that's good. So the last thing I would like to demonstrate today is how can I take my changes that I have made in these 2 different branches and put it back into the master branch so other team members can see the updated value of our code, right? Though remember that we are working, this is a local repository, so some assumptions are being made which are not very much ideal, like, oh, when I say other team members, nobody's going to be able to access this remotely. But let's just imagine that everybody was working on this one system, which is not going to be true. But I'm just trying to paint a picture of how all this stuff works. So if I go back into my main branch, which is master here, which is called master, and git checkout, not git branch. We cannot create a new branch because a master branch already exists. So git checkout master, switch back to my master, and I can confirm that by pressing this. I can see that we're in master branch. Now I want to first of all take everything we have inside the herbivorous branch and put it inside the master branch. So how the only way I can do that, or the way I can do that, is to use the git merge command. Remember, I'm already checked out to my master branch. I want to merge whatever I have in my herbivorous branch into my master branch. So I'm going to do feature herbivorous. So when I use a git merge feature herbivorous, it's going to take the history of what I have inside my herbivorous branch and merge it with the one that I have in my master branch. So my master branch will become updated with the code that I have in my herbivorous branch. So when I click on this, we can see that we have our file is being updated now. We have the carnivorous branch, we have the carnivorous animals, and we have the herbivorous animals, three of each. And then we can see that it actually is giving us an info of what's happening, this is the blah blah blah. So if you actually run a git log command right now, we will get more stuff. You can see the last place we had here was when we added carnivorous animals. That was the last thing we had on the master branch. But now we can see that we also have add herbivorous animals. It kind of took that particular commit and it added it into that of the master. I'm going to split my screen here, and then I'm going to check out. I think it's still going to affect it, but I just wanted us to see the screen here. So I'm going to check out the feature herbivorous. And I'm going to do a git log command. So here, if you look at the commit we have here, it's still the same commit that we have here. So it kind of like took this commit from the herbivorous and put it into the master branch. And that's why we have the same stuff in both sides. We have the same stuff currently now on the master and on the herbivorous branch. We don't have this particular, we don't have the same file right now for the master and the omnivorous. So if I was to check out into the omnivorous here, let me clear this. I use CLS to clear. So if I do a git checkout and I do feature omnivorous and I do a git log, we can see that for this particular commit here, it's kind of the same. But when we get to this particular point, we have two different commits. So it's like our tree just branched away. It was coming from, we had the master branch. The master branch had, in our tree, we had the master branch. And then we had another branch called the omnivorous. And we had another one called the herbivorous. But now the herbivorous and the master branch have been merged into one. So they have the same stuff. But the omnivorous branch is just on its own. It's another case on its own. We don't have the same history on our omnivorous branch and on our master branch. So let me check back to our master branch. I press Q to exit this and I do a git checkout back into our master branch. So now that I'm done with the herbivorous branch, I don't need it. I can delete it. And I'm going to use a git branch minus d flag and name the particular branch I want to delete, which is the herbivorous branch, because we're not making use of it again. So git branch minus d, the name of the branch I want to delete, and I hit that, and so you can see deleted branch feature herbivorous branch, which was at this particular commit ID, which we've all seen. Now if I do a git branch, I'm just going to have two branches, which is the master and the omnivorous branch, and that's all we have. So in this particular lesson, we talked about how we can create branches. I showed you how you can use git branch to create a branch, and then how you can use checkout to check out into a branch. I also showed how you can check out into a particular commit hash or commit ID. Then I showed you a shorter form to not just create a branch, but also checking out into that branch when you create that branch. We talked about git diff, um, git diff stage. We also looked at how we can merge, which is one of the highlights of what we are doing here today. How we can merge one branch into another branch. In this particular example, we merged from our feature branch into the master branch, and then we moved into our master branch. After moving into our master branch and confirming that the changes we made are there, we deleted the feature branch that we are not making use of anymore. And so that's what we covered in this lesson. Thank you for joining us today. We have another class sometime later. Thank you.